Hello again, rail fans. We are starting out on this brisk March Saturday morning here on the Florida S-Line. Of course, that's my old stomping grounds. We're stopped here at the north end of Bushnell Siding because I just heard on my radio what sounds like a grain train or a phosphate train. I can't really make it out. It was kind of scratchy. I'm going to set up the shot and get it, whatever it is. Well, that was K219. Hopper train. I'm not sure what kind it was because I couldn't really tell. It looked like it might have been phosphate, could have been grain. We'll find out when we do a little research online. Right now I'm headed north on the interstate. We've got word that there's something else coming south, so we're going to try and hit that now. When I got to Wildwood, folks from the Villages Model Railroad Club were there. This is a Saturday morning thing for these guys. The giant Villages retirement community isn't far from here, and it's getting closer all the time. It wasn't a southbound coming, it was a northbound. EO20 empty coal hoppers out of Lakeland's McIntosh power plant, rolling down to a stop here at Wildwood. 15 years ago, it was usually easy to see where a coal train was going. Reporting marks on cars in this train would have been LAKX for City of Lakeland. But the closing of coal-fired power plants by the dozens has created a surplus of coal hoppers. So many utilities have sold off their cars, using leased train sets instead. These cars are owned by Great American Marks Corporation. I left the guys back down at Wildwood to see what was going on. The coal train stopped, and then he started back up again just as quickly. Well, when I got up here to Moreland Park, I realized he's waiting. He's got a red signal on his track. He's on the number 2 track. There's a green signal on the number 1 track, so he's being held here for a northbound. It's a Q652, which is usually a very long train. So the coal train is waiting, and I'm waiting for him. So the wait continues. In about 20 minutes, here came Q652, daily Tampa to Waycross mixed freight, doing track speed on track 1.
Clear. Moreland Park, Q652 at 4 95.
Q652. Now that's normally a really long train, and today I don't think was any exception. We'll check it with a defect detector. There's one at Oxford, which is just a couple of miles north of us here, and let's listen to the radio to see how long he was.
CSX detector, milepost 756.8. You have a defect.
Wow, in my 30 years of rail fanning, that's the first time I've ever heard that one. So let's saddle up and go see what it is.
Now, I have heard hot box, stop your train many times on the old DDs, but never you have a defect. You subscribers know that I am a big fan of rail fanning with a radio scanner, and this is why.
CSX detector, milepost 756.8. B3 Niner dragging equipment near axle 5-2 Niner total axle 674 link 11076 detector out.
CSX JA train dispatcher Jacksonville answer over.
Jay, this that Q65204.
Yes sir, what you got there over?
Defect detector here at Oxford got us for dragging equipment about 140 cars deep.
140 deep. Alrighty. Alright, geez, yeah, almost towards the end there. Alright, well, be careful. Let me know what you find. I'll let Chief know if anybody's out here in the area to assist you here. Over.
Alright, appreciate it.
It turned out there was somebody to assist Q652. Me. After I heard all that on the radio, I pulled out, drove north, tried to find the north end of the train, finally found it at a spot on the S line that I know as Dallas. I made my way through this trailer park all the way to the back, across this field. I walked up to the locomotive, and I asked the engineer if his conductor would need a ride. Well, he said the conductor had already made it at least halfway back, but to go back there and see if I could find him. At that point, I drove back south. The S-line parallels US 301 for a few miles in that spot, and I found the spot where the cut lever was dragging, so I just pulled in there and waited. Pretty soon, the conductor came up. He fixed the cut lever with a bunch of zip ties. I asked him if I could film him while he was doing that, and he said he'd rather not be on camera, and I said, that is okay. That was that. Afterward, I said if he wanted to ride, and he said he did, so he got in. I drove him back to the head end, saved him about a 25-minute walk, and after that, Q652 was on its way back north. So that was at least a happy ending to that story.
I dropped off Q652's conductor, drove up a few more miles, and set up at the north end of Summerfield siding. It wasn't long before Q652 was on his way north again. In the lull that followed 652, I noticed something that made me think about future rail fanning. Many times I've lamented the end of the old signal bridges on the ACL main line. There's only a few of them left now. But there are new signal bridges all along CSX's main lines. Likely because they were too expensive, the old seaboard main through Florida never had signal bridges. Now it does.
Now here's a perfect example that you cannot always be confident that you know what's going on. I'm sitting over there eating my lunch. I haven't heard a thing on the radio for 15 or 20 minutes, and all of a sudden, poof. Here comes 453. So let's get him.
In about half an hour, up came that EO-20 coal train that we left back at Wildwood, screaming northbound with an ES-44DC, an AC-44CW, an ET-44AH, and a long string of empties headed back to Sugar Camp Mine in southern Illinois. That would be it for me. It was a 90-minute drive back home, and I had an overgrown lawn that was calling my name. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button. At North Summerfield, near the Villages, this is Danny Harmon, out.